Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to the campfire. My name is Michaela, and today I will be speaking to you about one of the big lessons I learned from Ayahuasca and our journey together and our ceremony together in Peru. It was about practicing what you preach. It was quite a big lesson for me personally because of this path that I've chosen, this path of shamanism that I have been called onto, that was difficult for me to share at the beginning with my family. As I started this path of self-discovery, this path of setting boundaries and growing into myself and into my power, there was a lot that I had to unlearn. There was a lot that was taught to me by my parents because they were sharing what they knew at the time. But it was a lot of unlearning of reactions, of patience, of lessons that I only had the opportunity to learn as I grew older. That now, as I look back, I have the opportunity to learn how I believe them to be right. A lot of what we do as we grow up is we are taught from our parents' perspective. And as we grow up and we unlearn those things, we start learning things the way we want to understand them. And this process of unlearning and relearning is where my difficulty came in personally, where I broke through the cycle of this stagnant energy of living that we've been caught up and stuck in, specifically in South Africa, specifically in Johannesburg. There's very much a mentality of work as the life and everything else is secondary, so much so that you live to work, you come home, and instead of doing things and practicing things for you, you wait until work the next day, only to fall into the same loop and that same cycle until you choose otherwise. And these processes of unlearning and choosing to try a different thing has been the process for me, that once I've sort of broken free from the cycle and seen how wonderful it can be, I am now trying to share it, and I'm trying to show this new life, this new living, an experience of living, to the ones I love who might be stuck in that stagnant energy. But what's been created in that as a result is quite a lot of intensity, because I am younger than a lot of people who I have approached with this information, and it comes off as very arrogant, and I get a lot of rebuttals from it. Like, how do you know this? Like, who are you to say this? And you can't school me because I'm older than you, or you don't know these things. It goes on. There's lots of different projections and blockages that happen when you try and share and teach from a different perspective. A lot of the time, one of my biggest issues has been my age. Age for me does not determine a person in any regard, except for the amount of years they've been on this planet. Yes, we grow and we experience, but the knowledge that I'm sharing is the knowledge that was given to me from generations before me. My ancestors use me as the beacon, as the anchor, to share the knowledge that they've learned to those who need it for the good of all. And I'm very honored and very aware of that. But unfortunately, when you share that knowledge with people who are in their late 50s or 60s, they don't see it that way, understandably so. And it was a big thing for me in ceremony to speak to Mama Aya and say, how can I show people this path? How can I show people that this works, that we are here to exist and celebrate this life, and how beautiful it is, and how healthy we can be, and how grateful we can be, and how we can practice this gratitude and all these wonderful things. And all she did, she turned to me and she said, Michaela, just practice what you preach. What you're saying holds so much meaning in your actions, because your words to the people you're sharing it to are just words. By practicing what you preach and by showing them that you believe in what you're doing, you're opening up a door for them to ask, a door for them to venture and question things for themselves and to come meet you rather than you finding them. And that's a big thing I've learned about my practice, is that it is for the seekers. It is for those who are looking for it. And it has found, as a result, everyone on their path when it's supposed to be their time. Because we are always on time for the things that are meant for us. And with honoring this, and with honoring this idea of like practicing what I preach, it's been an extremely humbling process for me. I think I have become more aware of how I am being observed, and I've become more determined in the things I do, in the way I do them, and in the belief and the masculine I have within myself, the belief and trust I have in my power and what I'm sharing and what I'm giving and what I'm doing for myself, that I've been honored with validation. I got the most incredible insights from my father about it, about him watching. Just as children we were observing our parents. I think as children become the adults, our parents start observing us. And by practicing what I've been preaching, my father has stepped into his present state, and he's honoring the present moment. And personally, it's an honor to watch him grow into himself and further heal his generational trauma. And that's what's been the most special about everything we've been experiencing up until now, is having that validation from my dad turning to me and telling me that he's been watching, that he can see how this way of living has changed my perception of time and of reality. And now, as a result, he has come to me and he is asking questions. He's asking big questions, that I am honored to be in the space that I can share what I do know with him. But I also know, because he's coming to me, he's opened up that space of vulnerability. And that's what we're trying to promote with everything else that we're experiencing. We don't need to project what we know onto anyone else. It is for us to practice for ourselves and to grow in ourselves with love, with kindness, and with gentleness, to lead from the chest, to make eye contact, create communities, to love each other, love everyone, love freely, be kind, to do things that will promote a better tomorrow, do things that will promote goodness. And it is in your intention that you can create a beautiful flow of energy. So focus on that intention, focus on the life you want to live, and focus on the life you want other people to live for their greater good. And figure out how you can promote that for not only you, but for others, based off of what you do, the actions that you follow. Be aware of who might be watching, and just lead from the chest. Practice what you preach, spread love and kindness, and don't forget to have fun. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Bye.